The teardown of the OPPO Find X9s Pro is here. How do these parts stack up to match the big brother X9 Ultra's nearly identical 7000 mAh battery and two 200MP sensors? Can the internal materials justify its starting price of $5,299? You'll find out after watching the teardown. More basic than basic. It's the longest named phone in OPPO's history. The OPPO Find X9s Pro. I bought one for $5,999 in a special color to share the teardown experience with my friends. First, let's look at the appearance. This gradient color scheme is really beautiful. It doesn't look much like orange at all. It looks more like the color of a ripe peach. The X9's Pro generation has also added a small deco step on the right side, making the visual balance more even. Let's compare it with the iPhone 17 Pro. Which one do you think looks better? Honestly, I think OPPO's gradient is really more attractive. Both devices have nearly identical thickness and dimensions. However, OPPO is slightly lighter. Let's compare screen brightness. OPPO is noticeably brighter than the iPhone 17 Pro. Now, let's check its advertised darkness. Clearly, OPPO is also darker, so its advertised eye protection feature does have substance. If you look closely, you'll notice that OPPO's automatic brightness adjustment is faster than Apple. However, I must say that the iPhone's automatic brightness is quite aggressive. It can get very bright. Comparing the chin of the screens, OPPO's is also narrower because it uses the new generation LiPo packaging technology. Compared to the previous generation COP packaging, it integrates the wiring and cushioning layer, allowing for a thinner design. I remember the official claim was only 1 point on. I feel that in 2 years the black borders on phones will disappear. Okay, let's stop here for the appearance. Is the internal material of this phone worth its price of $5,000 to $6,000? Let's start the teardown. First, heat it up and cut open the back cover. This phone supports IP68, 69 waterproofing, so the adhesive is indeed very strong. After opening it, you can see that the craftsmanship of the back cover is really neat. The whole thing is made of glass. The previously mentioned lens deco step uses an integrated cold carving process. Many people praise this process for its high cost, but now Apple has given it up, and OPPO has adopted it. The main body of the deco is still made of metal, which can also be used as a signal ring. This is what the internal craftsmanship looks like. On a scale of 1 to 91, how many points would you give it? To me, it looks just one word. Neat. Alright, let's turn it off first. Now, let's remove the mainboard cover. You can feel that the metal material ratio on the mainboard cover is very high, which helps with heat dissipation. You can see that the mainboard cover integrates the rear microphone, ambient light sensor, and a 50W wireless charging coil. The area of the graphene heat dissipation is also quite large. This circle is where the NFC coil is located, and its area is also quite large, making it convenient for card swipe. I measured the thickness of the wireless charging coil, and it's an impressive 0.24 mm, since we previously disassembled the OPPO Find N6. OPPO has basically used this ultra-thin wireless charging coil across its entire lineup. The advantage of using this coil is that it allows for more thickness in the battery. The small nose piece on top is its second generation single narrow camera. The main upgrade compared to the first generation is that this generation can participate in color calibration in videos. Additionally, this generation can recognize HDR brightness besides color. Flipping to the back of the mainboard cover, you can see that, like the Ultra, its top camera is integrated into the mainboard cover. The supplier is from Aku Daily Technology. I measured its size, and it should be the 1012 specification. Now, let's take off the highly promoted imaging module. The long focus and main shooting lenses both have a hole punch design, and the bottom of the long focus lens has a corresponding module-shaped heat dissipation for VC. With this design, the heat dissipation efficiency will be much higher. The main sensor is a Samsung 1.4-inch 200 HPP sensor with a large aperture of f1.6, which performs well in low light and provides excellent bokeh effect. Then there's a periscope telephoto lens, which uses a 1.56-inch f2.6 aperture 200 MP sensor. You can also see from the side that it is an L-shaped single reflection for telephoto. The benefit of this design is that it can easily achieve long focus macro shots. The remaining ultra-wide angle is a 5000 pixel 1.75-inch Samsung J&I ultra-wide angle. The essence of this imaging system, aside from the second generation single narrow camera, is the dual 200MP configuration. If you guys have a lower budget but want good photography and a large battery, the previous generation OPPO Find X9s Pro is also a good choice. I checked the current second-hand price, and it's only $3,058, which is $1,500 cheaper than the original price of $5,299. Moreover, all heavy phones undergo multiple rounds of official quality check. The quality is guaranteed. I actually compared it with the iPhone 17 Pro. And since the iPhone 17 Pro's long focus uses multiple reflections, it doesn't have long focus macro capabilities, only wide angle macro. When shooting with long focus macro, OPPO's single reflection clarity is significantly stronger. Even the 3D printed texture can be captured clearly. Also, the 200MP main camera, when you activate the 200T mode, the photos are over 16 beam in size, and its clarity is much higher than the 24MP output from the iPhone 17 Pro. It's worth mentioning that the iPhone's 24MP output is already top-notch. While your phones advertise 50MP, they actually output only about 12MP. However, 24MP is still inferior to OPPO's 200MP. Of course, the iPhone's advantage isn't in photography but in other areas. Now, let's remove the mainboard. There is a screw fixing the mainboard in the middle, so be careful not to force it when disassembling. After removing the mainboard, you can see that the processor's position has a VCE cold heat dissipation design with a cutout in the middle frame. Looking at the side, you can see that to make room for the imaging module, the mainboard has a dual layer stack design. If you look closely, you can also see that the mainboard integrates a variable focus flash and a laser focus module. The phone's performance trio consists of the Dimensity 9500, LPDDR5X, and UFS 4.1. Additionally, the S Pro has a teardown emergency network chip, which stabilizes latency during gaming. Below the mainboard, you can also see that the infrared transmitter is separately designed in a small version. The infrared transmitter is placed at the edge of the frame. This kind of independent design is quite rare. Next, let's remove the tail plug cover. The bottom speaker is from ASC Ruisheng Technologies 1115 specification. Let's compare this speaker setup with the iPhone 17 Pro and the recently fully repaired X9 Ultra. Which one do you think has better sound quality? Under the speaker, we can use a macro lens to capture that the touch IC is from Synaptics S3910V. This IC is a high-end touch chip from Synaptics, the same as the older brother X9 Ultra, and the specifications are still very high. Now let's take off the small version. Here, it is the same as the X9 Ultra. The small version has 2 microphones added. Along with the 2 microphones on the mainboard and the mainboard cover, there are a total of 4 microphones. This configuration is also quite rare. Some people might wonder what the use of so many microphones is. With more microphones, the directional reception becomes clearer, and noise reduction becomes easier, which is very useful. Now, let's take out the motor, which is from AAC Ruisheng Technologies 809A model. This small screen device is sufficient with the 809. Finally, let's take out the battery. Personally, what attracts me most about this phone isn't the photography, but its 7,000 mAh battery. Can you believe that such a small body houses a battery capacity of over 7,000 mAh? That's really impressive. No. The battery manufacturer is Dongguan Jinneng Technology Company, Limited. The battery overall adopts a single cell and single interface design, supporting 80W fast charging. By the way, I remember that OPPO also made a special external lens kit for this small screen phone, which is really convenient for concert. Plus, there's a Hasselblad collaboration. Please hurry up and start a production line to make cameras.